Now, as mentioned, it's often very difficult to be the very best version of yourself when you're constantly worried about how your skin looks. Now, thanks to the experts at ROCHE, they can now be a worry of the past as they are able to lend a helping hand with a revolutionary acne-prone skin treatment. And here to give us some more insight is dermatologist Dr. Willie Visser. Great to have you back on the show.
Thank you very much. You're wonderful to be back. Yes.
Yes, you have lovely skin.
That's what you say, yeah, but I don't know if I do.
I think you do. It's fine. And just not hardly any makeup. But let's talk about acne. You know, there are a lot of myths around it. You know, some people say acne is only something you get when you hit puberty and you're a teenager. Some people say that acne will always leave the deep indented scars on your skin. There's a lot of myths out there, but you've got the right information. Can we address some of the common myths around acne?
Yeah, I think the first one that you said is so important because I wish it was only in teenagers.
Oh,
you know?
Oh,
so,
yes, please.
So, I mean, we know 85% of people have acne when they go through teenage years.
Yeah.
You're almost abnormal if you don't get it. So, but I think what people don't understand that almost 80% of that will still go onto 30s still with acne. And if you look at people, especially women over 40, then 26% of women will still have acne.
Wow.
And in your 60s, you can still have it. So I think it's very important to make sure that in every stage of your life, you control it. Because it's easy to say, well, just leave it, it will go away.
Yeah.
But while you are a teenager or whenever, you want to feel as good as you can be. Your confidence is so important when you're a teenager. And I think the most problematic thing is if you leave it and it leaves scars, permanent scars, that is very difficult to manage later on.
Yeah.
So your best defense is early intervention. The other thing is also what parents say, but just my boy didn't want to wash his face regularly, and it's because it's dirty, and it's not that. So it's not that you can do anything to make your acne necessarily better by better facial hygiene.
Yeah.
It's not a dirty disease. It's basically just a hormonal based on your genetics. That's why we get it. It's an inflammatory condition. We can't treat it just with managing your diet, for instance, although diet may play a minor role in certain people. By just eating perfectly correctly, which we always advise as a holistic way, it will not take your acne away. So I think it's so important to know that it's something we can really treat well today. And there's no need to have acne in 2024.
No need to have acne.
That's great.
I love that. Now, doctor, when it comes to the skin's microbiome, can you unpack for us what that means and the connection perhaps to acne?
Yeah, and I think this is actually quite new information. So the microbiome, everybody knows about the microbiome or these bacteria in your gut.
Yes.
But I think it's much lesser known that we have trillions of organisms, even more than our own body cells on our skin. So you can almost think of it as this ecosystem on your body.
Yeah.
Containing bacteria, viruses, funguses, even mites on your skin, which is normal. And they live in perfect harmony. There's definitely the good, the bad, and the ugly between them. But it's this balance that keep everything perfectly in alignment and that keep inflammation away. And this is one of the things that we know now. There's an organism called Cutibacterium acnes that we know is always part of the whole acne pathogenesis or why we get it. And they live in the depth of your hair follicles and they live under oiliness. So you can see when you get puberty and you get more oil, then they will start and grow. But it's this type of process that we were always aware of, and we thought that they were overproducing and we were just using a lot of antibiotics to inhibit their growth.
Yeah.
But we know now that there's some subtypes of them that we actually need in acne, and they're actually anti-inflammatory. And certain subtypes of that C. acne is harmful and cause inflammation. So you can see by just suppressing them is not a good option. You want to restore the balance. So I think that's the whole message to life. If you can find that balance, and that's also what we want to find in our skin.
Balance is so important. I think what Zoe and I loved hearing you say is that you should not be worried about acne in 2024 because I'm sure there are advancements that you can share. So what are some of those? Because you're saying there's a lot of new information coming in about acne. So can you share just a few of them that perhaps could make us feel a bit safer with regard to acne, no matter how old we are?
So I think there's a very, very good treatment regime that we use as dermatologists. So obviously just the simple steps initially is having a very good skincare routine, just making sure that you moisturize, that you have a simple wash, and that's why these newer technologies are based on specifically then in these products, we call them dermacosmetics,
yes,
that we have certain products that will balance the microbiome and obviously don't disturb them further and can sit a very much a very good plane where we then can start with our treatment on top of that. And the treatments we use, we're moving a little bit away from all the antibiotics, although we still use it, but we have very strict rules with it, and then also all the vitamin A products that we can use in conjunction. But most of these are prescription medication, and then the dermacosmetics we use in conjunction with that, because remember, all our treatments will dry out your skin, cause irritation. So you need to be very cognizant of the fact that you need to protect your skin and also what we call the barrier of your skin, and put the ceramides back that we taking out of the skin, and that we also dry the skin, and all of those work in harmony to get a good outcome for the patient.
I love the advancements that the field of dermatology has done. What are some of those scientific discoveries that that's come out, and it's kind of challenging the traditional beliefs that people have around acne?
Yeah, and I think mostly the newest information is this whole influence of the microbiome, and that we now understand it very intricately where the balance lie and how we then must attribute our medication to help for that. Also, the other thing is that oil of the oil gland is not necessarily just a increase of the oil,
yes,
but there's also that the composition of that oil changes, and that we need to also look at that. There's also this misconception, I can't use moisturizer while I have acne but I have an oily skin. But the moisturizer actually will protect your microbiome, and it will actually neutralizes that oil and also protect the barrier and put back the ceramides that we need in our skin.
As a dermatologist, I think it'll be very useful for anybody who is a teenager watching your feel-good breakfast show, or anybody struggling with getting in a routine for their skin. Can you just give us maybe the foundations that you believe we need to think about, just a step-by-step?
Yeah, and I think this is so important, because I think when I see a patient, they've bought so many things. They've been for so many facials and treatment. You can't treat acne like that. For your basic, you need a basic moisturizer that doesn't disturb the pH, so very simplistic, nothing fancy. Leave the toners, use a very bland moisturizer, specifically a moisturizer that contains ceramide,
yes,
and buy from a reputable manufacturer. Ask your dermatologist to guide you.
Right.
And then very importantly, have a sunscreen, because initially there was this misconception that sun makes the acne better because it's anti-inflammatory, but it actually turns on you and it makes it worse. And most of our treatments will also make the skin more sun sensitive. So just having a wash, a moisturizer and sunscreen is a very good idea. And if you start seeing the black and white heads, you start seeing the pimples, and obviously if you start seeing cysts, you need to go and consult your doctor. Don't try for months with type of regime that you get from your grandmother. Maybe just try and go as fast as you can for a real good treatment regime that can treat your acne effectively and really give you that clear skin that I think you need as a teenager or through your whole life.
Oh,
yes.
Well, Dr. Billy Visser, thank you so much for joining us today and for unpacking and just explaining about the microbiome and how it impacts acne. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Oh,
this is wonderful. Hey, it was really
definitely
great. I mean, look, this is mostly makeup, so I'm going to ensure that I stick to that regime. But taking care of your skin, it's really a priceless gift to your future. So to give you a helping hand, ROCHE is giving you the chance to win a dermatology consultation for acne diagnosis and recommendation on a treatment plan as well.
How exciting is that? Now, for more information, visit the ROCHE social media websites, and there are some T's and C's that apply. Good luck.
Microbiome Science Breakthrough. New Cloud Duo Plus M.